Right then, Fred the Shed is going to be working again quite soon because lovely Neil has brought along a fuel filter and some of his patience to get these kind of things working. So that's just what we need.
Press air, you can compress easy. Because it's not an auto, it's an auto, not a manual as well. You can't store autos. I don't like easy start.
Almost. Fred's decided that he hasn't been looked after well enough, and so as well as running out of fuel and needing a new fuel filter, he's also done something else, hasn't he? What's he done?
Fuel pump.
Fuel pump. Broken. Needs replacing. This is a Rover 75 fuel pump that I've found knocking about in my stores. The only thing is, I don't know whether it's for a petrol or a diesel. The fuel pump is incorrect. So I'm going to have a rummage and see if I have another one knocking about. Yeah.
That bit leads to there, which that's the bit that's different. But if you look where that goes into on that one, we could put that one onto that one, and that one may power that one as long as the plugs are the same.
Okay.
That's my theory.
Those plugs are the same. Which is why we thought it was the same, isn't it?
So we could that potentially could work. But I'm not at the crucial point of this.
With Neil being down here today, always on hand, always wanting to help out, I said, well, you could help me get Fred the Shed going again, because he did go momentarily a little while back, and then the pipe jumped off and I guess it sucked in a whole lot more air. But the trouble is, this time it just doesn't really seem to want to go at all. Doesn't matter how much power is being put into it, until we discovered that the fuel pump, actually the in-tank fuel pump, wasn't really doing anything. So it must have gone quite weak whilst cranking over and not really getting anywhere. And as you can see, there was quite a lot of diesel in there. Now, the only solution seemed to be to take the fuel pump out. And as there is no direct replacement in my possession for this, Neil's going to see if he can cobble something together. The fuel pump that I have doesn't really fit. Well, it looks the same, except all the pipes and everything around the top are completely different. So that means it's not really supposed to go in this. And it could be for a petrol car, I don't know. But the internals of the fuel pump itself, in other words, just the pump bit, shouldn't be that different. And that's why Neil currently is having a great time pulling that thing apart. And he is. He just looks really happy there, getting his fingers grubby with diesel and prizing bits apart. It's nice to see. Will this fuel pump work or will it not? No.
There's a donut.
That is Fred's fuel pump, and it definitely does not work any longer. But what about the replacement one that we have here, which came out of a 190? Oh!
There you go.
That was scary, wasn't it?
There you go.
That sounded like an ostrich running away from a tiger.
It's ready.
Right, so that's got to come out of there, and then it's got to be mended because it got a bit broken. No, that's the broken one already. That's the one that had a pipe snap off. So we need some super glue to mend it and some steel stuff, and then it goes in there, and then basically it's a fuel pump again. Fantastic. Wonderful. It's the moment of truth.
Great success.
Fred the Shed lives again.
Fuck you, Bosie.
Yeah. And it's as smooth as it was before.
Not very.
Not very smooth. Yeah. You don't reckon?
That's lovely, though.
Bye-bye. And that was that. Good job, Neil. Let's go and have a look at Fred. And so, Fred does actually live again. Fred has been given another chance because maybe he deserves it, maybe not. But the weird thing is when you consider this, that this car was being a very, very good yard work tool for a while, then suddenly it stopped working. And it came into three things. One is it did run out of diesel, the other is that the fuel filter collapsed, and then the fuel pump also decided to give up. And now that means that Fred is now back on my list of cars that could be going back on the road before too long, because what this one has that many Rover 75s don't have is a body that isn't rusting away and rear suspension that isn't falling apart. It just looks shocking. At least I can safely say now that all it really needs is that exhaust sorting out where it's dangling down, maybe a little bit of sorting out of these because a couple of lamps aren't working, a couple of rather knackered looking drop links, ABS sensor, and the speedo doesn't work, although it doesn't matter too much about that one.